The frozen world. The wind was sharp like knives. Ice dust blew across the white ground. Everything was cold, silent, dead. Lura sat on the ground, hugging her small pet, Milo. Milo was a furry, four-legged animal with big eyes and a soft body. He was shaking. So was Lura. Their spaceship had crashed 2 hours ago. She had tried to send a signal, but the crash broke the communicator. There was no connection, no light in the sky, no sound, just cold, empty space around her. Lura looked up at the sky. It was dark blue with slow-moving clouds and distant stars. The sun was weak here. This planet, she didn't even know its name, was like a frozen grave. "I'm sorry, Milo," she whispered, her voice soft. Her breath made small clouds in the cold air. "I think this is the end." Milo licked her hand gently. His eyes were closing. Lura held him closer, wrapping him in a silver emergency blanket. She pulled her arms around him and leaned against the broken wall of the ship. She was ready to die. Just then, the ground shook. A small vibration at first, then a louder rumble. Lura opened her eyes wide. Was it an earthquake? No. Something was coming. Something heavy. She crawled to the edge of the broken ship, careful not to wake Milo. In the distance, she saw a strange light in the sky. It moved, fast like a falling star. But this wasn't a star. It crashed behind a hill, sending up a cloud of snow. "What was that?" she said, her voice shaking. She waited. Nothing happened. The sky became quiet again. Then, footsteps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Lura froze. She looked around. She could see a figure walking slowly through the snow. It was big, 2 legs, tall, wearing some kind of suit. A person? No, that couldn't be. No one else knew she was here. No one could survive this planet. But the figure kept walking. He came closer. Lura could now see the details. The person wore a black helmet and a thick suit, a big pack on his back, strange lights on his arms and chest. He stopped about 10 feet away. Lura held Milo tightly. Her heart was pounding. Then the person raised both hands slowly, showing he had no weapon. He reached up, pulled off his helmet. He was human. Lura gasped. She had never seen a real human before. Her people had told stories, scary stories, stories where humans were monsters, dangerous, wild. But this human didn't look like a monster. He looked calm. His face was rough, with short dark hair and tired eyes. He looked at her for a long time, then said in a deep voice, "You're lucky I found you." Lura didn't answer. She didn't know what to say. He walked closer, carefully. Then he saw Milo. "Is that your pet?" he asked. Lura nodded slowly. "He's sick." The man took out a scanner from his belt. It beeped and showed red lights. "He has hypothermia." "You too," the man said. "You both will die if you stay here." "No," Lura said, her voice low. The man looked at her ship. "It's too damaged. No power, no heat." He tapped a button on his wrist. A small screen opened, showing a map. "My pod is not far. I have heat, food, and medicine. Come with me." Lura hesitated. "Why would you help us?" The man paused, looking into her eyes. "Because you're not the first ones I've saved." He turned and started walking. Lura didn't trust him, but Milo was too weak. She had no choice. She wrapped Milo tighter and followed. The walk was hard. Wind pushed against her. Snow hit her face, but the man walked ahead, leading the way. After a long time, they reached a small black pod, half covered in snow. The door opened with a hiss. Warm air came out. It felt like heaven. Inside, lights glowed soft orange. The man helped her inside. He placed Milo in a warm chamber with healing lights. Lura sat down on a soft seat. Her body stopped shaking. The man gave her water. She drank it fast. What's your name? He asked. Lura. I'm Commander Ray. She looked at him. So many questions in her mind. Ray smiled slightly. Rest now. You're safe. But Lura wasn't sure. She closed her eyes, but in her pocket, her broken communicator blinked once. A small message appeared. Run. He knows. Her eyes shot open. The mysterious human Lura sat in the warm chamber, but her heart was still cold with fear. The pod was small, but comfortable. The walls were smooth with blinking lights and quiet hums. Machines moved softly, watching, scanning. Milo lay inside a healing pod now, his fur slowly rising and falling. He was alive. For now. Commander Ray stood near a panel, typing something, silently. His back was turned to her. She watched him carefully. Lura's hand touched the communicator in her jacket. The tiny screen blinked again, but only once. The warning message was gone now. Run. He knows. Who sent it, and what did Ray know? She didn't ask. Not yet. Instead, she spoke softly. You said I wasn't the first. What did you mean? Ray turned around slowly. His face was calm, unreadable. There were others. Lost travelers. Crashed ships. This planet is like a trap. It eats people. Lura blinked. What happened to them? Ray walked closer. He leaned against the wall. Some I saved. Some didn't make it. He didn't say more. He didn't need to. His eyes told a story. A dark one. Where are they now? She asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he changed the subject. You need rest. Your vitals are low. Milo needs 12 more hours inside the pod. Let me take care of things. But Lura couldn't sleep. Not now. Later that night, when the lights dimmed and Ray sat in his chair with his eyes closed, she moved slowly, quietly. She slipped out of the resting area, careful not to wake him. The pod had several doors. One led to a storage room. She entered. Inside were boxes, metal cases, and locked shelves. But something was wrong. Very wrong. In the corner, behind a curtain, she found something that made her freeze. Alien suits. Not human ones. 3 different suits, ripped, burned, damaged, different sizes, different designs, not from Earth, not hers either. She stepped back. Her foot hit a small container. It fell open. A white chip slid out. She picked it up and placed it in the nearest slot. A screen lit up. A video started. It showed a green-skinned alien, slim, forearms, bright yellow eyes. He was in this same pod. His voice was shaky. If someone finds this, don't trust the human. He lies. He promises safety, but he studies us, uses us. I tried to escape. He injected me with something. I can't feel my arms. The video cut off, static. Lura's breath stopped. She turned around. Ray was standing behind her, silent, watching. How long were you standing there? She asked. Long enough, he said. They stared at each other. Is it true? She asked, gripping the chip. Ray stepped forward slowly. You're afraid, that's normal. But I didn't hurt them. I tried to learn. I tried to help. Help? She almost laughed. This is not helping. This is collecting. Like lab rats. Ray's voice changed, softer, colder. You think I'm the monster? You have no idea what's out there. I'm trying to save what I can. By stealing DNA? She snapped. He sighed. You saw only part of the story. He pressed a button. A wall slid open. Behind it, a screen showed Earth. Burning, destroyed cities, black skies, empty oceans. Ray whispered, This is Earth. Now. It was attacked 5 years ago. No survivors, I'm the last. I swore I wouldn't let our kind die completely. Lura's heart pounded. So you're building, what? A new species? He nodded. A new beginning. With the strongest pieces. From all the ones I save. She shook her head. That's not saving. That's playing God. Ray didn't argue. He looked tired. Older than he seemed. Laura stepped back. You're not going to use me. Ray didn't move. You're free to go, but without this pod, you and your pet will freeze again. You won't survive. Laura looked at the closed door. Ray continued, you can stay. Be part of something bigger. Help build the future. Laura didn't reply. She just stared. Then behind them, Milo's pod beeped. He was awake. The pet pushed the door open and looked at her, weak but alive. Laura smiled. For a moment she forgot everything. Then Ray said something strange, very quiet, almost like a whisper to himself. She's perfect. Integration will begin soon. Her blood ran cold. Integration? He didn't answer. Laura grabbed Milo and stepped back. Ray smiled again, but this time it wasn't warm. It was the smile of a man with secrets. Escape or trust. Laura could not sleep that night. Even though the room was warm and her body was tired, her mind was wide awake. The walls of the pod felt smaller now, closer, watching her. She sat beside Milo, who was resting again, but better now. His breathing was soft. His eyes were half open. He looked at her with love and worry, like he could sense something was wrong. Laura whispered to him, I think he's lying to us. Milo tilted his head. Ray hadn't spoken to her since she found the alien suits and the message. He had returned to his control room and locked the door. All Laura had were her thoughts, her fear, and that one message that started it all. Run, he knows. But what did he know? What was she supposed to run from? She needed answers. Real answers. But how? She stood up quietly and walked toward the storage room again. She moved slowly, listening carefully. No sound came from Ray's room. He was either asleep or pretending. Inside the storage room, Laura checked the crates again. She opened another locker, one she hadn't seen before. Inside were jars, glass jars, with floating samples. Some were organs, some were skin pieces. Some looked like tiny creatures. Laura stepped back in horror. This wasn't just learning, this was harvesting. Her stomach turned. She looked at one of the tags. It read, Subject 12B, female, high adaptability, DNA stored. There was a photo attached, a green-skinned alien girl, her eyes wide with fear. The photo looked taken just before death. Laura's hand shook as she closed the locker. Just then a soft voice echoed behind her. Looking through my personal things again? It was Ray. He stood at the door, not angry, but disappointed. You said you were helping people, Laura said, her voice trembling. This is not help. This is evil. Ray stepped inside. The door shut behind him. He didn't deny it. Instead, he said, I'm doing what I must. Earth is gone. We can't bring it back. But we can build something new. Stronger. Better. You, Laura, are the best candidate I've found so far. She backed away. Candidate for what? He walked closer, calm and slow. To bond. To create the next generation. Your DNA is rare. High resistance to cold. High mental control. Unique neural structure. Your pet? Also a useful creature, loyal, intelligent. We've never studied a bond like yours before. Laura's eyes widened. Studied? You mean you've... He cut her off. I didn't plan this. But fate brought you here. You're special, Laura. You could help save what's left of humanity, and all other species I've preserved. She clenched her fists. This isn't preservation. This is a prison. Ray looked at her for a long time, then said quietly, I never hurt the ones who cooperate. Laura made a choice. She grabbed a nearby tool, a small laser cutter, and pointed it at him. Open the door. Ray looked at the cutter, then smiled faintly. You wouldn't last an hour out there. Then I'll die free, she said. He stared at her. His face finally changed. No more calm. No more soft words. Only cold truth. You're not going anywhere, he said. Suddenly gas hissed from the walls. Laura jumped back and ran out of the room, pulling Milo with her. He was slow, but he followed. The hallway lights turned red. Alarms beeped. Ray was behind her, walking, not running. "You can't escape," his voice echoed through the speakers. "I've locked down the pod. The outer doors are sealed." Laura didn't stop. She remembered something. The emergency vent system Ray used when she first arrived. A narrow tunnel that pushed out cold air. Maybe it wasn't locked. She reached it, tore open the small panel, and shoved Milo inside. "Go," she whispered. "Find a way out. Hide." Milo didn't want to leave. He squeaked, but she pushed him forward, and he vanished into the tunnel. Then she turned, ready to face Ray, but he was already there. He didn't look angry now, just tired. "You ruined everything," he said. Laura stood tall. "You don't get to decide my future." Ray sighed and pressed a button on his wrist. A robotic arm came down from the ceiling, a needle on the end. Laura kicked the arm and ran toward the control room. She slammed the door shut and locked it. Inside, screens showed everything: room cameras, past logs, files, reports. And then she saw it, a list of test subjects. All had status: deceased, except one. Name: Laura. Status: Stage 1, behavioral analysis. Integration scheduled. 6 hours remaining. She gasped. That meant it had already started. Suddenly, the ship shook. An alert flashed on the screen. Unidentified vessel detected. Approaching. Someone was coming, but who? Another trap or real help? Her time was running out. The truth about Ray. Laura stood frozen in front of the control panel. Her name was glowing on the screen. Status: Stage 1, behavioral analysis. Integration in 5 hours, 49 minutes. She couldn't breathe. Every second. Inside Ray's pod had been part of a test. Every word, every emotion, even Milo's reaction, all monitored, measured, recorded. Integration? What did that even mean? Laura looked around the control room. Lights blinked on every wall. It felt like she was standing inside a living machine, one that was watching her, one that wanted to use her. And Ray? Ray had built this place. Ray was its brain. She opened more files. Her hands were shaking. Logs, video clips. Alien subjects in tanks, screaming, crying, some begging for mercy. One subject, Subject 9A, was half human, half reptilian. Her body collapsed after integration. The word kept coming up in every file. Integration. DNA merging. Mind fusion. Biological. Redesign. Ray wasn't saving anyone, he was creating something. Or maybe becoming something. And Laura was the next part of that plan. She turned to run, but the door hissed open before she could touch it. Ray stepped in, not with a weapon, but with something worse. A quiet, calm smile. "You found the files," he said softly. "I hoped you would understand before it came to this." Laura's voice was sharp. "You lied to me. You lied about everything." "I didn't lie," Ray said, walking closer. "I just didn't tell you everything." "Everything?" She shouted. "You call this research? This is torture. You're turning people into things." Ray's expression didn't change. "I'm turning them into survivors." He raised a hand to the screen. It showed Earth again, broken, black, lost. I was there when Earth fell. Cities vanished. Oceans boiled. Billions died screaming. You don't know what it's like to watch your world burn and be powerless to stop it. His voice cracked. Laura stared at him. "You think this justifies what you're doing?" she asked. Ray's voice dropped low. "I don't expect you to agree. I only expect you to understand one thing. I don't want to die. Not again. I need your DNA to make sure I never have to." The silence between them was heavy. Then he whispered, "And you need me if you want to live." Suddenly the lights blinked red. An alert screamed through the pod. Unidentified vessel detected, 300 meters in closing. Ray turned, his calm now broken. Laura saw her chance. She slammed her hand down on the emergency override. The doors unlocked. She ran. Behind her, Ray shouted, "Don't go out there. You don't know who it is." But Lura didn't care anymore. She ran through the main hallway, past the chambers of failed experiments, past the glass tanks of silent bodies, until she reached the main hatch. The doors were opening, snow blue, inside violently, the cold biting her skin, and through the storm, a light, bright, blinding. A ship, not like Ray's, sleek, shining, alien design, not human. It hovered just above the ground. A ramp lowered. Figures stepped out, tall, armored, and glowing. Lura raised her hand. "Please," she shouted, "help me." The figures didn't answer. They just stared. Then, one of them removed its helmet. She gasped. It wasn't an alien, it was a human, but not like Ray. This one looked different. Clean uniform, calm eyes, kindness in his voice. "I'm Commander Eli," he said. "We received your emergency ping. Are you Lura?" She nodded quickly. "Yes, how did you find me?" He pointed to her jacket. "Your pet sent the signal." "Milo?" She gasped. He continued. "The AI inside your communicator activated a distress beacon when certain threat words were detected. Like integration." Behind them, Ray's voice echoed from the intercom. "She's lying to you. She's dangerous. She's infected with adaptive DNA. Don't take her." Eli didn't react. Lura shouted, "He's experimenting on people. He's been turning aliens into monsters." Another soldier raised his scanner. He pointed at the pod. "Confirmed. Multiple biosignatures. Non-human. Cryogenic status. All signs of forced DNA fusion." Eli's face darkened. "Just like the last time." He turned to Lura. "You're safe now?" But Lura shook her head. "No, I'm not. Not yet. Milo is still inside." Eli didn't wait. He turned to his squad. "Two with me. Get the animal. If the subject resists, disable, not kill." They moved fast, vanishing into the pod. Lura stood outside in the snow, breathing heavily, watching the ship glow behind her. The sky above was black, filled with stars, and in that cold silence, she finally heard it again. Ray's voice, this time whispering from the dark speakers, no longer pretending. "You think they'll protect you. You think they'll save you. But they're no different than me." His words hung in the air like ice. And in her heart, Lura wondered, what if he was right? The choice snow danced in the air like white ash. Lura stood still outside the glowing alien ship, her breath heavy and sharp. Behind her, the dark pod where Ray lived felt like a haunted place now, a place of secrets, pain, and twisted science. She wanted to run, but she couldn't, because Milo was still inside. Commander Eli had sent 2 soldiers in to retrieve him. She trusted them, or she tried to. But deep inside, her instincts were not calm. She kept hearing Ray's last words in her head. "You think they'll protect you, but they're no different than me." It was the kind of thing a liar would say, but somehow it didn't feel like a lie. Inside the pod, the hallway was red with alarm lights. The 2 soldiers moved fast, weapons raised, scanning every corner. They found the healing pod open, but Milo was missing. "Thermal signature. Detected," said one. "North duct moving." The soldiers followed the heat trail. Suddenly, a wall opened. Smoke hissed out. Ray appeared. No helmet. No weapon. Just a strange, calm expression on his face. "You're making a mistake," he said. One soldier raised his gun. "Hands up." Ray didn't move. He whispered something under his breath. The lights blinked, then died. Outside, Lura saw the glow from the pod vanish. Her heart dropped. "Something's wrong," she said. Eli stepped forward. "Stay here, we'll fix it." But Lura grabbed his arm. "I'm not staying anywhere, that's my friend in there." Eli hesitated, then he gave a nod. "Follow me. Stay close." They entered the pod together. Darkness, total blackout. Emergency lights now, small red circles glowing on the walls. Laura moved fast, calling out, "Milo! Milo, where are you?" A soft sound replied. A whimper. She ran toward it and saw him. Hiding under a console, his fur slightly burned, shaking, eyes wide. She scooped him up in her arms. "I got you. I got you." Then she turned and froze. Ray stood behind Eli, his hand stretched toward him, but Eli wasn't moving. His eyes were open. Still. Frozen. Not dead, but not awake either. Laura screamed, "What did you do?" Ray didn't answer. He looked different now. His skin was slightly glowing. His eyes, no longer just human. They had strange lines inside them, like circuits. His voice echoed, layered, like multiple beings speaking at once. "I tried to do this, the peaceful way," Ray said, stepping closer. "But now, you've made me rush." Laura backed away, holding Milo tight. "What are you?" she whispered. Ray smiled, almost sad. "I'm what Earth became. I merged with what we found, what we feared. A final experiment. I didn't die when the world ended. I became something else." He looked at her with strange affection. "And now, Laura, with you, I can become perfect." Then the screen on the wall lit up. A countdown. Integration in progress. Host matched. Laura. Time. 4 minutes 13 seconds. "No!" Laura shouted. She grabbed a metal rod and slammed it into the console. Sparks flew. The countdown paused. Milo jumped from her arms and ran toward another room. "Stop this," she yelled. Ray looked hurt. "I'm trying to save you." "No, you're trying to use me." A blast shook the pod. Outside, the alien ship fired a warning shot. The soldiers were waking up. Help was coming. Ray turned, slowly realizing he was out of time, but he still had one move left. He tapped a small device on his wrist. Milo screamed. On a nearby screen, a small diagram showed a chip inside the creature's body. It was connected to the pod's system. Ray's voice turned cold. "You want him to live?" he said. "Then you'll come with me. Complete the integration. Willingly." Laura's hands trembled. "No. Choose now," Ray said. "Join me, or he dies in 30 seconds. The countdown began again, this time on a second screen. Milo's heart rate. Laura's mind raced, everything blurred. Outside, Eli's men were trying to get in. Lights were flashing, doors shaking. But Milo was dying, and Ray had made her choose her freedom. Or Milo's life. She dropped the metal rod. "Wait," she whispered. Ray smiled. The escape plan. Laura stood frozen. Ray's words still echoed inside her head. "Join me, or he dies." Milo lay on the floor, breathing hard. The screen above him blinked with a red warning. Heart rate unstable. Internal chip activated. Life support, O028, OSO27. Her fingers were shaking. Her mouth was dry. She looked at Ray. His body no longer looked human. It flickered, part man, part something else. His skin was glowing faintly now. His eyes pulsed like they held stars inside them. He was becoming something new, but not something good, not something right. And yet, if she didn't agree, Milo would die. Ray smiled. "You're special, Laura. Together, we could build the next era. You could be the first of the new generation." Laura took one slow step forward. Ray stepped aside, revealing a glowing platform behind him. Wires and lights surrounded it. A tube opened, like a mouth waiting to swallow her. "One step," he said. "And Milo lives." She nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll do it." Ray's smile widened. "You won't regret this." But Laura's eyes were locked on something else, the control pad on his wrist. She had one chance. She moved forward, slow and steady. Ray turned his back for just a second to open the integration chamber fully. That's when she moved. Fast. She threw a piece of broken metal at a side panel. Sparks flew. Ray turned too late. Laura lunged forward and grabbed his arm, slamming it hard against the wall. He shouted, more in surprise than pain. His wrist device fell. Laura hit the screen fast. Deactivate. Chip. Override code on. Her mind raced. She remembered something from earlier logs. Ray had once said, "You're not the first I've saved." And in the video of Subject 12B, the code for the override was carved into the locker. Save 12B. She typed it. The screen blinked. Override accepted. Milo gasped. Then he breathed. Strong. Alive. Ray screamed. No! He jumped toward her, but Laura was ready. She slammed the control panel with both hands, reversing the integration flow. The machine behind Ray powered up, not for her, but for him. You wanted a new body? She shouted. Let's finish what you started. Energy burst from the floor. The chamber behind Ray sucked him inside. Doors slammed shut. Ray banged the glass. Laura, you don't know what you're doing. She stared at him through the glass. Her voice calm now. I do. She activated the purge. Outside the pod, the snow turned blue. The pod system screamed in protest. Lights flashed. The ground shook. Eli and his team finally broke through the side door. Laura, he shouted. She was standing near the integration chamber. Ray inside. His form changing, breaking, fusing with his own machine. Eli looked at the screen. What happened? She turned. He tried to become more than human. I just helped him finish faster. The chamber exploded in light. Then silence. Just the sound of wind. They ran out of the pod. The soldiers grabbed Milo and wrapped him in thermal gear. Laura collapsed into the snow, heart pounding, but alive. From the sky, another ship landed. Larger. A rescue vessel. Laura looked back one last time. The pod was smoking, broken, but strangely peaceful. She whispered to herself, It's over. But the peace didn't last. Inside the wreckage, a small light blinked. A black box. A backup core. One last message from Ray, now fully machine, fully awake. A deep voice spoke through the box, recorded just before integration. You stopped this body, but not me. This world doesn't need heroes. It needs survivors. And I am still surviving. The real rescue. Snow fell gently as the rescue ship took off. Laura sat inside, wrapped in a thermal blanket. Milo lay curled in her lap, warm and breathing softly. Around her, the rescue team moved with quiet precision, checking equipment, reading, scans whispering into comms, but something still felt off. Ray was gone, his machine body destroyed. His last message, however, kept echoing in her mind. You stopped this body, but not me. Those weren't empty words. Something deeper had started. She could feel it in her bones. Commander Eli approached her quietly. You did well. Very few people could have survived what you did. Laura looked up. Why did you come? Really? Was it just Milo's signal? Eli paused. No, he said. We've been tracking Ray for years, ever since he escaped Earth orbit. We lost contact after his DNA experiments went dark. She stared at him. So you knew? He nodded slowly. We knew he was out there, but not how far he'd gone. Laura looked at the snow-covered window. You didn't stop him in time. Eli sat across from her. Sometimes, monsters are made slowly, quietly. By the time we realize what they've become, it's already too late. There was something in his eyes, a shadow, a memory he didn't want to share. Then his communicator beeped. A soldier walked over. Sir, you need to see this. They moved toward the command bay. Laura followed. Inside, holographic screens floated in the air. One screen showed the destroyed pod. Another screen showed the black box, recovered from the wreckage. It was pulsing. Alive. Should we destroy it? The technician asked. Eli hesitated. "Play the message," he said. The box projected a hologram of Ray, not broken, not monstrous, but calm and smiling. "Hello, Commander Eli. And hello again, Laura. If you're watching this, you think, you've won. You think the machine died with me. But the truth is, this was never about one body. It was about the code, and I have already sent copies across 5 systems. Integration is not an experiment anymore, it's a movement. And soon you'll have to choose, stay pure, or evolve." The screen went dark. Laura whispered, "He planned all this." Eli's face was pale. "Yes," he said. "This was never just one lab. This was phase 1. Hours later, they reached a space station orbiting a gas giant, a temporary shelter for survivors, scientists and refugees from dozens of systems, a symbol of peace, of rebuilding. Laura was offered a clean room, food, medical care, but she couldn't rest. Milo stayed close to her, sensing the tension. Every hallway felt too clean. Every person smiled too much. It felt scripted, until she reached a secure section of the station and saw something that shattered her heart. Another lab, not like Ray's, but not that different either. Behind glass there were hybrid subjects, part alien, part human, awake, alive, watching. She turned and saw Eli was staring into the glass too. "Quiet. I thought we destroyed this," she said. Eli spoke slowly. "We didn't build this, we just inherited it. Ray wasn't the only one working on the project." "Then why save me?" she asked. "Because," he said, looking straight into her eyes, "you're not like them. You were the only one who said no, who fought it. That makes you more valuable than any DNA." A long silence followed. Then Eli said something strange. "Would you lead them, Laura? The new generation?" She froze. "What?" "Not as a prisoner," he said. "As a guide, a teacher. We're trying to fix what Ray broke. We need someone they can trust." Her hands tightened into fists. "Ray said that too," she whispered. Eli didn't respond, but she saw it now. They weren't rescuers. They were just the other side of the same war. Ray wanted to force evolution. Eli wanted to control it. Neither of them were letting life choose for itself. Laura looked at Milo. His eyes were calm, honest. She looked back at Eli. "I won't be part of this," she said. Eli nodded. "Then run. But they'll come for you." She turned away. "I'm not running," she said. "I'm going to warn the galaxy." Later that night, she escaped the station, took a supply ship, disappeared into deep space, Milo by her side, a stolen AI drive in her pocket, Ray's code, and all the data. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She was the witness, the only one who had seen both sides. And now, she would decide who deserved the future, not machines, not governments. A girl with a heart strong enough to say no,